Hello, everybody. I'm very happy to be here today and representing some of the oldest tourism destinations, actually. And I'm a bit shocked how little representation there is and there was in the past at the UNWTO from the Alps, from the mountains. We are 5 countries which host welcome guests and tourists since at least 100 years in all our member villages. We have 12 of them. But in most places, it's 200 to 300 years that we actually welcome guests. So at the time, there was no business plan of how to do that. There was no pre-education of whoever was there to welcome guests. Guests just came. People hosted them in some way, gave them food, and at some point took them up on the mountains, which in the beginning they refused. So the British visitors had to bring their own guides because there were no local guides who would take somebody up on a mountain. And so there is a lot of entrepreneurship that got developed and human capital, of course, that was used. And today we're facing several issues that we have to work on because all these families who work in tourism and the economy of these villages is made out of tourism between 85 and 95%. So there is not much more than tourism in all these villages. One problem that we are facing is to actually keep the young people in the village, make them become tourism managers, have them go out, see the world, see how tourists are welcomed in other parts of the world, take the know-how and then actually come back to their home village and continue a career actually in the village. We start, we heard it just before, we start as little as in kindergarten to already teach the children why there are so many people coming from around the world to our villages and how the whole tourism management works in such a village. Second is that we have every season a lot of new employees and because they are most of the time not locals, we need to give them a kind of a common spirit. So very often in the beginning of the season we have kind of motivational, educational evenings where we get everybody on the same spirit, into the same mood, to give them a good feeling about the destination, give them know-how about the destination, but also in interacting with the guests and the clients that come actually from all over the world. Always came from all over the world. We, on another level, also do special workshops with the hotels and the hotels employees when we have new markets that actually start. When the Indian market started to become bigger and bigger, we had to give some trainings on the behaviors of an Indian tourist. We did the same with the Chinese market. When the Chinese clients came in big numbers, we had to explain, especially the hotels, but also the shop owners, what makes a Chinese client different to a Japanese client. And this is very important basic knowledge that you have to know. We now opened a totally new way of using human capital. On our homepage, we are going beyond the regular tourism information. We're actually using the locals, their story, their experience, what they do in life, what their families have been doing for generations, and what the young generation is doing, maybe in the same way, maybe in a very different way. So we have about 180 stories of local people, of what they do, what they produce, what life they have, to show the clients actually what there is beyond coming to a hotel, eating, drinking, maybe using the spa, maybe taking a little hike. Why do we do this? Because our destinations often also are seen as, well, everybody has been there, everybody knows everything already about these destinations, you can Google everything, but we go beyond that step and present the human capital, which are, again, the local people who grew up in the village in a very, very different way. And I'm here today to also learn from others, destinations like us that are in the market or in the tourism industry since almost ever, I would say, and to share what we are doing and why we are doing this.
Thank you, Sam. I think this is listening from Antonia and also